Hello everyone. Today we're going to take a look at some 1937 pattern webbing components that are actually made in the Commonwealth. So unfortunately with this I only have one item that was in the Commonwealth, and that being some 1937 pattern Canadian cross straps. So I have two different types of Canadian cross straps. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at them. Now then, we have a pair of cross straps, Canadian manufacture. Now the reason why I say these are a pair, but over this one doesn't have the loop in. Why is that? These are still considered a pair because sometime in 1943, or I believe it's about when they get to 1943, they actually stopped producing cross straps with the loops in. This is actually referred to on Kharkee Web, which is a website that I use for discussing British kit. And in 1943, they removed the loops. You know, ease of manufacture. So technically, if you have them without a loop in, it's not technically wrong, as they are a pair. Of course, they just don't have, one doesn't have the retaining loop in, but that's besides the point. So these are Canadian ones. How we can tell it's Canadian is that these are slightly yellower. Canadian stuff is always made in a much more, let me move that one out of the way just for a minute. Canadian stuff is made in much more yellower material. Probably might be able to see it on here, on this 2-inch section. Won't be able to focus, will it now? But it's basically made of yellowish material. As seen there. And actually, just to prove it, let's bring in a common British example. It looks even more yellower here. So this is the British, this is the Canadian. It's slightly more yellow, as seen. Something else that's interesting about the Canadian ones is that it's made differently. So unlike the British example, this is a reduction woven that I just grabbed. Of course, the British neatly next down into the 1-inch. The Canadian example just has it all folded and stitched, and it's kind of got the 1-inch section actually running through the middle on both sides. And it's kind of got this short little section here. Now, these were made by a company called Z.L T.L. So this is a long. So in case you're not aware, Z.L and T.L is it's Zephyr Loom Textile Limited. I think that's what it is. 1943, and I believe they're in Toronto. So put that down. We have another one here, another example, another Z.L and T.L. 1943 in R. What's R? You might think, oh, that's the right hand one. Well, you might be right, because there's no loop on this one. Now this one actually means regular. So the Canadians, unlike the British, made a normal and a long, and eventually a short. The Canadians made long and a regular, which is a bit odd for the Canadians. Still made of the same construction. The brass on this one's a little bit shoddy. This one's a little bit better. As you can see, the brass is really nice condition. you might actually consider these as new old stock. But however, we're going to take a look at one more Canadian example, as the Canadians made another example before they went to this pattern. Now then, we're going to play a game. Spot the reduction woven. Spot the British example. Oh wait. If you said it was the top one, you are wrong. This is the British example. This one's a Mika, 1942, but that's besides the point. This one is a Canadian. Once again, another product of Z.L and T.L, 1942. It's another long, but as you can see, it is, believe it or not, Canadian reduction weave. And it's actually in the exact same manner as if I bring back in the British example. It's in the exact same way. So you can see it points in on the British, it points in on this one. But of course, unlike the Canadians, well, really unlike the British, the Canadians do a stitch right across there. The British, they just stitch it all the way down. Of course, practically, it is unrecognisable, besides from the stitch. But however, I do not know if this is made from the same yellowish webbing as... it's just slightly, the British example is a little bit darker. The Canadian is just a little bit lighter. Which is interesting to find out. So that is the Canadian reduction woven. Now then, I hope you found this video informative and enjoyable. This is typically something I do not do. Talking about Commonwealth webbing. I typically do talk about the British webbing quite a bit, but not really any Commonwealth stuff. So this is kind of the first time actually doing it. Like I said, if you have enjoyed this video, then please like and subscribe. And stay tuned for more content. Thanks for watching.